Hello guys, welcome to today's class. In this lecture, I'll be talking about command prompt and also Git bash. These are very essential part of programming journey in which developers use in writing their code, to control the interfaces that we have in our computer system. Now, I started this Python hands-on class some months ago and I've dropped some videos. I actually started from the scratch. So in case you missed any of my videos, you can always go back to my channel on YouTube. Just search for at code with Abiodun M6. You'll be able to see some of the videos I posted on my YouTube timeline so that you can catch up with what we have done so far, because I actually started from the scratch and it's hands-on class where you can learn Python from the beginning. Now, in this class, we'll be talking about command line, which is our command prompt, and also Git bash. So, what is command line? What is command prompt? What is Git bash? What is command prompt? Command prompt is a command line interface in Windows that allows users to interact with the operating system using text-based commands. Command prompt is utilized for executing system operations, automating tasks, and resolving issues. Now, the same thing also applies with Git bash. Git bash is an application for Microsoft Windows, allowing developers to use Git in a command line interface. Now, we all know that for some users, you might be using a Windows, a system that uses Windows operating system, whereas for other users, they might be using Mac, which or Linux. So we have different, interfaces. We have different operating system for different computer system. So, but in this lecture, I'll be touching on command prompt and Git bash. The essence of Git bash is that if you are used to using Mac operating system, presently you now have Windows, or probably you have a Windows system, but you want to be writing your command line, with the command line we have in Mac operating system. That is the essence of this Git bash. You can use Git bash platform for that. So CMD file and directory structure. Now, using the command line, you have to understand the hierarchies we have in there, from the root, to the files, to sub directories, to like that. You need to understand the hierarchy so that you'll be able to navigate yourself through your operating system. Now, having a clear understanding of the hierarchy of files and directories in CMD and this command prompt is quite crucial to facilitate easy navigation and management of your directories and files. This same thing also applies to Git. In CMD, the hierarchy of the file system is organized in such a way that the root directory lies at the highest level of the hierarchy. The rest of the directories and files on your machine can be reached from the root directly. In other words, the root directory actually means the let me say the principal folder that accommodates your file, that accommodates whatever you are creating. Now, we also have our hardware as part of it. For example, our drive. Now, your hard drive on your computer is labeled with a letter such as C or D. You see drive C, you see Windows C. Is that you see drive C or Windows C? You can even see D. Each drive itself contained and may have its own directory and file structure. Now, what are directories? Directories or folders are utilized to organize files and other directories. Directories may contain files, subdirectories, or both. As we move on in the video, in the class, you will understand, all these things, or what I meant by directories, files, and subdirectories. Now, files are the basic unit of information within the file system and can contain text, images, video, or any information. Now, basic navigation command in command prompt and Mac OS. Now we have CD, which stands for change directory. The same thing applies to those that are using Mac operating system. We have dir for Windows. If you are using Windows and you want to list out the things that you have in a particular directory, you use the command dir. But for Mac operating system, you use ls. Just type ls. I will still show us these things as we move on in the class. Now if you want to move up one level higher, you use the cd space dot dot. The same thing applies to Mac operating system. If you want to make directory, that is creating a folder, you use md for Windows, while for Mac operating system you use mkdir, that is make directory. Now if you want to remove directory also, under Windows you use rd, then you type the name of the directory. But for Mac you use rm space dash r, then you remove the directory. That is, you are removing, you are deleting a particular folder. Then we also have type under Windows for creation of files, but under Mac operating system we have touch, that is for creation of file. Just like I did here, dir is meant for listing items in a directory, and also listing items in a directory. ls for listing items in a directory under Mac operating system. All these things I would show us as we move on in our class. So for you to use your command prompt, you can open your command prompt. I have it pinned to my taskbar here, but in case you don't have it pinned, you can just go to your, for Windows users, just go to your start button where we have in our Windows. You can type cmd. It will show the command prompt here. Then you just click on it. So for now, I'll be talking on the commands that we have on Windows, the one you can use on Windows. I've mentioned we have the CD, we have the other ones, but let's see how we can use them to create directories, how we can use them to create files, how we can use our command prompts to delete or rename file. Now, what are file, what are folder? If you look at my desktop here, this is a file that contains other and this is a folder that contains other files and can also contain other subdirectory. A folder is a directory, just like what I have here is a directory. This folder that I named the waste is a directory. All these things that you see in folder, they are all directories. But something like this Microsoft file that I have here is called a file. You can see the difference between them. You can see this Microsoft file, and you can see the difference from what we have here in this waste management. This is a folder, this is a file, this is a file, this is a file, but we have folders. So folders are called directories. So but how do we create all these folders and our files using our command prompts? That is what we are actually after. Now remember, I told you if you want to change directory on Windows, what you use is what? cd, change directory. For example, let me just show you so that you can. Now I told you use cd, that is cd, change directory. So if I'm coming back here now, if you look at this my command prompt, now you can see C drive users, then this is my name. Now when you install Windows on your system, it automatically creates all these things depending on the information you gave to it while installing your Windows. Now this C is my hard drive, that is my hard disk. Now these users, automatically Windows will create users and folder or directory for you when you install your Windows. And then the name of the user, Windows allows you to create maybe admin or general user, or other user depending on the information that is made available for you while installing. No, so automatically Windows will give you this. But what I have here now, I have my desktop. I have my desktop here. Now, if you look at this command prompt, it's not showing me any desktop. But I want to navigate to my desktop so that I can create a particular folder or file on my desktop. This is my desktop. This is what is called desktop in Windows. This desktop, this environment you see here is desktop. So how do I do it? So what you type is just you change directory, cd, then you type desktop and press enter. As you can see, from what I have here before I typed in this cd desktop, I only have this C drive users, then my name here. But now that I say change directory, to desktop, that is why I have this one here now. It has now changed directory to desktop, as you can see. So, which means, and from what I showed you in from the slide, except if you want to see the things that you have, in a particular directory. Now, in this directory that I am now, which is the desktop, there are some things that I have there. So, for example, if I want to see all these things that are on my desktop, if I want to see them using my command prompt, if I want to see their names, what I need to type is just dir for Windows operating system. If I type dir and I press enter, as you can see, it listed out everything that I have on this desktop. Everything I have on this desktop, you can see portfolio, you can see, look at this passport here now, this particular passport, you can see it also here. So dir for Windows will list out everything you have in a particular directory. It will list whatever. If I change to another folder, let's say I want to, for example, let's say I want to change to this folder, or let me just look for, okay, let me change to this SQL folder. If I say cd SQL, I have it on my desktop here. I can say enter. I have changed. You can see from my C drive, then to the users, then to the user's name, and this is my name, then to my desktop. This is the hierarchy we are talking about, then to SQL. So the highest hierarchy here is this C drive, followed by this, then followed by desktop. Then through desktop, I can also access this particular folder or directory. You can see that there is hierarchy in this, which means if I don't access my desktop, I won't be able to access my SQL folder, which I also have here. So if I now type dir, that is, I want to see the things I have in my SQL. As you can see, it's listed out some things that I have here, for me. So if you want to, list out the items you have in a particular folder, you use the command called dir. If you want to change directory, use the command called cd, that is change directory. Remember, I'm still talking about Windows here, and this is command prompt. Now, you can see that I have moved from C drive to users to this user, then to desktop, then to a folder on the desktop, which is SQL. You can see it here. Now, what if I want to move back a level higher? What if I want to move back a level higher? What I just need to, that is, I want to move back from this SQL folder to back to my desktop. What I need to do is just to type cd, then space dot dot, and you press enter. As you can see, it has moved back from SQL to desktop. If I want to move back from this desktop also to this name, to this user, what I just need to type just cd space dot dot. It will take it back to this particular user here. You can see that the directory we are now is this user and not desktop again. If I want to see the things in this particular user's profile, what I just need to type is still that same dir for Windows. It will list out all the files, the subdirectories we have there. No, it will list them, and you can see desktop itself under this user, under the user. Under this user, that's where we have this desktop. If there is another user on this system, you can also change directory, or if there's another user on this system, you can change. The person would have signed in. What I have on this my desktop now, the other user might not have it on his own desktop. So but because the present user that signed in is this person here, and what I have on the desktop of this user are these things that you can see here now. So it is a very straightforward thing. Now, what if I want to clear this screen? Like it is becoming so clumsy now. It is becoming so clumsy. So probably you just think, let me just clear my screen. How do I do it? For Windows, we type CLS. CLS. Just type CLS. It will clear the whole screen for you. As you can see, it's just cleared the screen for me. Now, I want to change back to my desktop. What do? I type cd space. For Windows, you can actually press tab. It will be suggesting the things you have on on the system for you. But because I want to change to desktop, I can just type D, then press spacebar. It will be, if I continue to press spacebar, whatever that starts with D, the system will continue to show them to me. But because I want to change my directory to desktop, then I will just go stop at desktop and press enter. So I'm back in my desktop. So that change directory also applies to those that are using Mac operating system. If you want to change directory, you use cd, then the directory you want to change to, if it is desktop. Now, but for listing out the things that we have in your maybe on the system or in a particular directory, for Mac you use ls, but it will not work on this command line because this is not Mac operating system. And that's why I talked about git bash. So if you, in case you don't have git bash installed on your system, you can just go on Google, search for git bash, download git bash, install it on your system. Now once you install it, and if you have it installed, just come to your, this is Windows now because I'm using Windows, but I want to try out the command line that Mac operating system uses, so I can't use it directly on Windows command prompt. So I have to use git bash. Git bash will give me the opportunity to type my Mac command line on a Windows operating system. Now, so you can see the difference on my screen. Let me just reduce this. This is Windows, and this is git bash, where I can type my commands. So if I, let me try the ls command here on the desktop, you can see that it is giving me error, said is not recognized as an internal or external command. Why? Because this is command prompt. So, and this is Windows operating system. So ls command, Windows will not understand the ls command. Now, but let us now try with git bash. Now, this is my root directory. You can see this user's name again here, Tugobo Abiodun. You can see, that is how git bash opened it for me. You can see the same thing here. Now, if I want to change to desktop, I just type the same thing. See, then I can type my desktop, or you also tab. It will suggest the directory of files that starts with D for you. So, but if you know the name of the file or the folder, you can just type it. You can see I have desktop. You can see now already I'm in desktop. Remember, under this is Windows now, but this is git bash. Now I want to compare the two. Remember, for changing of directory, you use the same thing, cd. cd, just as I have here, I also have it here on command prompt. Now, but for the listing of items on in a particular folder, for Windows, I said you use dir, then you type enter, it will bring out everything for you. Now for git bash, which we are using for Mac operating system, you use ls. This is ls. Once you type ls, then press enter, you can see it's listed out the things I have on my desktop. It listed out the things I have on my desktop. And now I told you, on this is Windows. Remember, this is Windows. This is um, git bash, so that I don't confuse them, because they have the same black background. But you just look at the top here, you see command prompt, but here you can see git bash. So now, like I said, if I want to clear my screen in Windows, I can easily type cls, it will clear the screen. But if I want to clear my screen for Mac operating system, for those that use Mac operating system, what you just need to type is clear. If you type clear, it will clear the whole screen for you. So you can see the difference between command prompt and git bash. But command prompts can only use the command line that Windows operating system understands. But for git bash, you can use Windows command line on it, and also Mac command line. It allows for Windows command line and also Mac command line. But for command prompt, it only allows for Windows command line. You can't use Mac command line on it. So I believe that should be clear enough. In case you are using Mac operating system, those are the command line you use if you want to change directory, if you want to check the items in a particular directory, or you want to clear the things you have on your command line, in case you are using Mac. But for Windows, you could also see it. So those command lines are very straightforward. We have a lot of command lines, but the basic one are the things I'm talking about in this video. You can also go and check more on those command lines. So the next thing we'll be talking about now is creating how we can create files under Windows, and also under, if you are using Mac operating system, they have different command lines that you can use. But if you are using a Windows operating system and you want to be using your command line, you want to be using Mac command line, probably you know how to use it. You've been using Mac operating system, but now you now have a system that uses Windows, but yet you still want to be using your Mac command line on your Windows operating system. So I'll just advise you to install git bash on your system. Then you can use your Mac command line on your Windows system through this git bash. But if it is Windows, you can still stick to your command prompt, or you also can use git bash, because git bash will allow you to use the command line for both Mac operating system and Windows operating system. So the next lesson I'll be taking us now is how to create files. Now I'll be talking about command line under Windows first, which means I'll be using command prompt first. I've actually minimized the git bash so that we don't confuse it. Now, this is command prompt for Windows operating system. As a programmer or a developer, it is very essential that you know how to use command prompt to navigate through your system, because if you are using Visual Studio or even Sublime Text code editors, you can easily control all those platforms through your command prompts. So instead of running your code in the terminal we have in VS Code or Sublime Text, you can use your command line, your command prompt to run your code. It makes your work easier and faster. So the first thing I will be talking about here is how to create files. files I've already shown us. Files are just like if you are creating a Microsoft txt file, or maybe Photoshop file, or Notepad file. Those are files. But if you are creating folder, if you are talking about directory, then you are also talking about folder. These are folders. All these things you see in yellow color are folder. But files are ordinary um, ordinary things like this. You can see the Microsoft Word here, you can see the text files here, you can see my Excel file here. These are files. But folders are also called directory, which means inside a folder, for example, let me use the user interface to create a folder. If I come here and I say folder, I can create a folder. Let me just name it example. You can see it here, example. Let me just minimize it. You can see this example here. This is a folder now. I can also call it a directory. I can also, then I can open this particular folder and still create another folder in it. Now the folder I'm creating inside of this example folder, now you can see it is, they are the one that is called subdirectories. That is, they are inside another directory, and even inside this one I can still open it and create another folder. It will continue like that. That one will become a subdirectory to this new folder, so you can continue like that. So when we talk about directory and subdirectories, it's just creating a folder inside another folder inside another folder. But here I can also create a file, maybe a text file, maybe a notepad file. I can create it inside this folder. So note the difference between folder and file and how you create them. So but let us use our command line to create these folders and the file. Now I'm using command prompt because I'm working with Windows presently, but I'm still going to show you the other one on Git bash in case you want to be using your Mac command line on your Windows operating system. You can use Git bash, but for now let us stick to command prompt, which Windows uses. So now I want to create a file. Let's say now, you remember I've changed my directory to desktop. So whatever file or folder I'll be creating now will appear on this desktop. I don't want to put it in another folder, so I don't start opening before I show you. So just know that everything I'll be creating now will come on this environment, this desktop environment. Now I want to create a folder, a file that is named operation. What do I need to type? Just type the null space, that's space null, then space greater than sign. That is a sign, that's greater than sign. Then if the file I want to create, let's say I want to name the file operation, I can just type operation. If it's a text file, I can just type .txt and press enter. As you can see, the file has been created here. You can see operation.txt. I created the file using my command prompt for Windows. For those that want to be using Windows command line, I created the file using command prompt. You can see the file here. So for you to create, for example, if I want to create another one, let's say I want to create a file called logo, I can just type space NUL space greater than, let me just say logo dot, let's say I want to create a Python file, and the extension for Python is .py. The first one I created is .txt, that is a text file, but this one now I want to create a Python file, so that's why I'm putting this .py. That is the extension for Python file. If I press enter, let's go back to our desktop and check if it is there. As you can see this logo.py. It has created it. You can see the logo.py. You can see the operation.txt. So that is how you use um, command prompt to create file. Now, instead of coming to my desktop here to check, I can, I told you can list out the items you have on your desktop. Since I'm in the directory desktop, I can just type dir, then I'll press enter. Then I'll press enter. As you can see, it's listed out the things I have here. It's listed out the things I have here. So if we check closely, we'll be able to see, you can see the logo.py file, and the other one we created, that was operation. Okay, you can see the operation.txt file. So by using dir, I was able to list out the things I have on my desktop directory. This is my directory now. I am in desktop, on the desktop directory, and that's why I'm able to list out the things I have there. So if I want to clear this screen now, I told you can just press CLS for Windows to clear the screen for me. Now we've created the file. What if maybe when I was creating the file, I didn't mean to name it operation. I want to rename this particular file to another thing. So how do I do it? You remain in that directory where this file is. This file is in desktop directory, so you don't leave this directory. If you go to any other directory to rename it, it won't work. Why? Because it won't be able to find this particular file name in another directory, except you have this same particular file name in directory you want to change to. But for this class, we have our file on our desktop. So let's type I want to rename this operation now to maybe new operation file. So if you want to rename, you stay in that directory, then you type ren, that is rename in short form. Now what is the name of the file I want to change? Operation. You have to mention the old file name .txt, that is the extension. You can see it when we created it, .txt. Then you now type in the new name you want to give it. Let's say I want to give it maybe operation or new operation. Let me just say new operation. Let me just say new operation .txt. Now let's go back to our desktop. If you look at this thing now, it has changed to new operation. New operation. You can see the name has changed. So that's how you change the name of a file in command prompt. The same thing applies to this logo.py file. Let's say I want to change it to I want to change the name to new logo. I'm still in the same directory. I can just say ren, what's the old name, logo.py. Then I'll change it to the new one that I want to change. I say new underscore logo.py. That is the new name I want to give it. You can see if you go back on my desktop now, you can see it has changed it to new logo.py. So that is how you rename a file using your command prompt. What if I want to delete these files that I have created using my command prompts? It is very easy. Stay in the directory where you have created the files. Then you type del for command prompt. Now remember, we are still dealing with Windows operating system. Del, what's the name of the file now? We have changed to new operation, so I have to say new underscore operation. That's what I named it. .py. That is the name of the file. If you can see from here, you can see new operation. So I want to delete it. So once I type that, sorry, it's not .py, that is .txt. So if I press enter, if I come on my desktop, as you can see, the file is no more here again. No, the file was formerly here. It's no more here again. If I want to do the same thing for new logo, if I want to do the same thing for new logo, I will just come here also, type del space, what is the name, new logo dot py. I want to delete it, then I'll press enter. As you can see, that Python file has been deleted, is no more there again. So you can see that you can create file with, using your command prompt. For Windows users, you can create file using your command prompt. For Windows user, now that is file. What about folder or directory? How do you create directory? For Windows, you change directory to the folder or directory where you want to create the particular folder. So for now, I want to remain on the desktop, so I want to create a folder on the desktop. Now the folder I'll be creating, I'll also name it operation. So the command is md operation. A folder does not carry any extension. A folder is just like a container that contains or that house every other thing that you want to create. So for this directory now, for me to make this directory, so I will say md, that is make directory. This md means make directory. Now that is create this directory operation. So by the time I press enter, if you go to the desktop, you can see it has created a folder named operation. It has created a folder named operation. Why? By using this particular command md, which means make directory for Windows. Now if I want to rename this same folder, it's just like the way I did for files. So what I have to do is just type rename. Now this ran, then what is the old name? Operation. Now what is the name I want to give it? I want to give it new operation. Then I press enter. Now if we go on desktop, let me minimize this. You can see this now on the desktop. It has changed to new operation. It has changed to new operation. It has changed to new operation. So this is how you use command line to create a folder on Windows operating system. Now if I want to delete a folder, just like we did for logo also, if I want to delete a folder using the command line, now for files we use them del, but for folder we use rd, that is remove this directory. So I will just type rd, then space the name of the file, that is new operation. Now new underscore operation. If I press enter, you can see the file here has been deleted. The folder here has been deleted by using this command rd command. So it is very simple and straightforward if you want to use your command line for Windows. So excuse me, for Windows. Now for Mac operating system, for those that still want to be using their Mac command line on their Windows operating system, on Bash, that's why we have Bash. So you can do that on Bash. Now this is Bash. Now I've minimized my command prompt. Now this is Bash, now where you can type your Mac operating system, your Mac command line on Windows operating system using the git bash. So you just have to install git bash on your system. Now if we want to create a file, using the Mac command line on our Windows, what you will do is this. You type, this is the directory. I'll still stick to my desktop directory because I want us to be seeing it as I'm doing this, so that I will just minimize and show you. Now I want to create a file, using my Mac command line on my Windows operating system. What I need to do is just to type touch, then you give it the name that you want. So I'll still be using the operation, the setup operation. See, this is, let me say, for a text file. Press enter. As you can see, if I minimize my Git now, it has created it, operation.txt. You can see that different command line I use to create the same text file. For Windows, I use type, then space, null, and greater than, then the file name. But look at this git bash now. I'm using another one totally, and this is Mac operating system command line, but I'm using it on my Windows operating system, and that's essence of this bash, so that you can type your command line on it. So now I've been able to create operation.txt file. So if I want to rename it, just like we did for command prompt 2, what I need to type is mv, that is move. That's, you can use it to move a file, and you can use it to rename a file. I will just type mv, what is the old name? Operation.txt. Now, what is the new name I want to give it? I want to give it new operation again. New operation.txt. So now, if I press enter, let's go back. Let me minimize this and go back to my desktop. You can see it has changed it to new operation using the git bash, but different command line. Using the git bash, but different command line. Now, I want to delete this file. How do we delete file? You know, we're able to delete file using the command line for Windows, using the command prompts for Windows. But now under git bash, using our Mac command line, I want to remove, or I want to delete this particular file, this text file, this new text file that I created. How do I delete it? What I just need to do is to type rm, then I type the name of the file, new operation now. New operation. By the time I press enter, oh sorry, I need to remove, I didn't put the extension. The file name is new operation.txt, so I didn't put the extension txt. So as you can see, if you go back to our desktop, it has removed the file. Here. So you should note, when I failed to put the extension, it gave me this rm cannot remove new operation of file, no such file or directory. That is, the computer, the command did not see a file that is named just new operation. What the one it saw was new operation.txt. But when I first typed there, when I made this mistake, I didn't put .txt. So the computer understand what you intend doing. So, and once the computer does not see what you are trying to do, it will return this kind of exception back to you. So that is how to remove file in using Mac command line on git bash. Now, how do we make directory? How do we create a folder using our Mac command line? What we have to do is just to type mkdir, that is, it means make directory. This mk means make directory. For Windows, it was just md, that is make directory, but for Mac it is mkdir together, make directory. That's how you create a directory. Let me say the name also is still operation. Directory is a folder. It does not have any extension. You should put that at the back of your mind. It's just a container. So I've done that. Let me minimize. You can see operation. That's created operation. that's created operation, that's created the folder here. You can see, so I can even open the folder. See, the folder is empty, there is nothing in it. So that's folder for you. So using the mark command line. But what if I want to rename it also? What if I want to rename it also? Let me go back to my git bash. I'm still in directory. So if I want to rename it, I'll still use the mv that I use in the renaming file. So what is the old name? Operation. Then the new name I want to give it new operation. Then I press enter. Now let me minimize this. As you can see here, I have new operation. New operation. It has renamed it using this command line. Using this command line. That's renamed it using this command line. So if you are using a Windows operating system and you have git bash installed on your system, you can use your mark command line to navigate through your computer system while using Windows operating system. Now, what if I want to delete this operation, this folder, this new folder, this new operation folder I created? Still, type remove dir, that is in short form. Now we have remove, that's rmdir. Then what is the name of the folder? Operation. That is the name of the folder. Just type rmdir, then the name of the folder. And our own name of folder name is not operation, because I've changed it to new operation. So let me type new operation and I'll press enter. So if I minimize this and come back to the desktop, you can see that that folder has been deleted. So these are ways in which you can navigate through your computer using command prompt or git bash. So this is git bash and this is command prompt. You can see command prompt here, you can see git bash. Yeah, they both have similar black background, but remember, command prompts can only be used for Windows operating system, but you can use both Windows command line and Mac operating system command line on git bash. Like this ls now, that will list the directories of or the things I have on this particular directory. By typing this ls now, is for the ls is for Mac operating system. At the same time, I can also use dir. Let me clear this. Remember, I told you if you want to clear on Mac, you can just type clear. And I can also use cls here because it will clear. But for Windows, you use cls. Now, here, if I also want to check the list of items under this directory on git bash, I can still use dir. It will work for me. I use ls, it work for me. I can also use dir, it will also work for me. So that is the difference between the command prompt and git bash. So thank you for watching my videos. Remember, you can always connect with me on my YouTube platform. You can just go search for this and watch other videos I've posted, concerning Python for beginners, in case you have missed any of my videos. So that is it for this class. Thank you.